Good night. In this case, I want to talk about aggregate planning strategies with their two categories, level strategy and chase strategy. So, in the first place, I want to talk or explain um, why this topic is related to my major. So, I need to say what is my major. So, my major is industrial engineering, and and my topic aggregate planning strategies. It's part of control of production. Control of production. It's a subject of my major, and it talk about everything related with the companies and with the production of their companies and the products and we and I want to talk about or touch some concepts like inventory or working capital or things like that. So aggregate planning strategies, it's part of control of production. Well, right now I want to talk about the restrictions of the aggregate planning strategies that are in the first place hire or fire. So we need to hire or fire workers. Then we're gonna touch our concept called working capital, and we're gonna refer working capital as like the production that have each worker in a company. Well, now I'm gonna talk about production capacity. That it's the like the amount of production that a company have in their places. And finally, I want to talk about inventory. That inventory, it's the um, like the quantity of product um, that are in our place at the end of a day or of a period. So, for example, if we are commercing or we are producing, for example, pencils, for example, a pencil or a lot of pencils, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have I don't know 10 pencils, and that's 10 pencils that I didn't sell. I need to put it in a place called inventory. Well, the first strategy is level strategy. I'm not gonna focus on level strategy, but I want to explain it in general terms. So, in the first place, we have two assumptions that are that we don't fire or hire a big amount of workers. And why we don't hire or fire a big amount of workers? Because we want the minimum constant number of workers in a number of periods. And the other assumption is that we can maintain an amount of units in our inventory. So at the end of the day or at the end of the period, we're gonna leave some products or units in our inventory. That it's a difference with the other strategy. So in this graph, I want to show you that it's the production versus demand. So the red line, it's the production in a number of periods. So if you see the demand, that is the blue line, almost never it's like in the same level of production. But our production is in almost all the cases um, in a high place respect to the demands. So in that way, we are guaranteed. Yes, uh, we are like guaranteeing that we're gonna that we're gonna complete with our demand of each period. So the other strategy is chase strategy. So the two assumptions is that we need to have the exact number of workers in each period. So in each period, we're gonna see if we have the number, if we have the exact numbers of workers, and if we don't, we need to fire one, two, three, or the number of workers necessary to have the exact demand of that period. So in this case, we're not gonna have like a high or yeah, a high level of inventory. So in this case, it involves keeping inventory levels in a low level. So the objective is fulfill the demand in each period. Well, and comparing that graph with the last graph, we can see here that the demand is on the same level of production. So we are like making our objective, that is fulfill the demand in each period. So how we can see in this graph, we can see that for example in the period one we have 1,000 of demand necessary, so we're gonna produce 100 of units, 1,000 units, sorry. And finally, I have a little example to understand a little bit better the problem. So in the period number 0, we have a, oh well, I need to say you what it means each like each column. So T, we have the number of period. The T, we have the demand of each period. The key and the T, it's like the like the um, like the production of each worker. So for example, in the period 1, each worker it's gonna produce 6.25 number of products. So if we are commercial pencils, each worker gonna produce 6.25 pencils per period. So having that in count, we're gonna talk about the W. The W is the number of workers that are working in our company. And H and FT, it's hired or fired workers for period. And finally, the P, the PET, it's the production that we're gonna have at the end of the period, and the IT is the inventory at the end of the period. So as we can see, at the end of each period, the inventory is it's like in low level. And if we can see in the period number 1, we have well, in the period number 0, we have 250 workers, and we need to produce 850 I don't know, pencils, for example. So we need to have only 136 workers. So we need to fire 114 workers for that period, and that is the process for each period. So that's the trace strategy. And finally, that is here I have the references that I used to explain my problem. But in general terms, I guess that the chase strategy is like a better strategy because we don't have a lot of inventory, and we will not like have inventory cost that we do in the level strategy, because as you see in level strategy we're going to have a lot of inventory at the end of each period, and that is my problem. And it's like a problem that I like a lot, that I love a lot, or I like a lot. So I wanted to explain it in English then. So that's it, and have a nice day.